Alright, so this is a trade review of the EP today on PRCH. And I suppose we can also just do SoFi as well. Even though that one doesn't look as promising, but we'll see what happens with it. So PRCH was gapping up last night, and when I'm looking for a good EP, or what I perceive to be the EP setup, and again, this is my interpretation, I'm not saying this is the correct way. There's probably people better than me. Stock B, probably one of the best in terms of the EP setup. So, credit to Stock B. I don't know if he would even classify this as an EP, but this is my interpretation of an EP. So I'm looking for a sideways consolidation like this. I want the stock to be going sideways into the earnings, kind of not moving. And then also if it's in like a bigger term base, that's great. So it's still kind of in this base since December. I know it's higher, but I consider it still in this base. And it's clearly in stage 2. And it's over all moving averages. So all those are correct. All those check the box. And just to like really show the sideways, I want it to look like this is like the perfect illustration, I'd say. It's just like going sideways like this, kind of into the earnings, like bam, and then bam, gaps up on earnings near the top of this range, but gapping up over this tiny little base right here above all moving averages, and you got a good move. So kind of the same thing here. You have a little sideways base, not as perfect, but pretty good, and then it gaps up right under this level. And I've noticed a lot of the best EPs, or a lot of really good EPs, not all of them gap above the range. So if you go and look at ODD, this gapped up above. Actually, it didn't gap up above everything. But you see how it gaps at the top of the range and then it cleared it? And then it kept going, right? And so PRCH gapped up towards the top of the range and then cleared it. So it doesn't have to completely go above the top of the range. You just want it in that upper range. So just for clarification. Then important levels, what I always do is I mark out the pre-market or post-market high, that's significant level. And then I go down to whatever time frame I want to use. So 5 minute, 30 minute, 1 minute. EPs are best with the 1 and the 5 minute. And it really is just preference. There are multiple tactics you can use to enter stop losses, all of that. It's a bunch of preference. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. I suppose I'll just show how I did this one. So I just marked out this pre-market high, and you got to fade to this 200 moving average off the rip on the 1 minute. And then as soon as I saw this, I see a lot of EPs. What they'll do is they'll wick out in the first couple minutes and then they'll go. So as soon as I saw this wick, I put in my buy order. So I just, stop loss over the day, risking 51 cents on that. And all I'm looking for it to clear the high of this 1 minute candle and then also clear the pre-market high, which it did that. So entered right at 801 was my fill, and then cleared pre-market high. Perfect. Then went up, came down, retested, and then it just never retested my average. It literally just never retested my average. So as soon as it got as soon as I was up like 10% on the move, so like after this candle right here, I just moved stop to break even. Not gonna take a loss in the trade. I'm up 10%. And then just the best breakouts and episodic pivots, especially episodic pivots, they just don't retest your average. So stop was break even, trim some up here. Sorry for the voice crack. Trim some up here, and still holding a large quantity of the move. I'm looking for it to get extended up to 11 to 12, and then I'll trim more and more. I'd rather this just go sideways and set up well. But another thing, big volume. You want to see this big volume. You want to see huge volume. You can see the relative volume on this, 794%, volume buzz, 694%. And again, gap to the top of the range, perfect. Also, important key with this, the reason I had conviction on this, I should have probably started with this. I got conviction because it was doing, it did triple digit EPS growth, okay? It did triple digit EPS growth. Let me go to my exact post. I posted on Twitter the night before. So 186% EPS growth. So that's triple digits. That's what we want. And then the guidance. The guidance raise is so important. Revenue increase to a range of 400 million to 420. Gross profit increase from 320 to 335 in that range. And then sales were expected to be 60-70 million. So you got big raises, and then on top of that triple digit growth, that makes for like that's a reason, like the stock has a reason to go up, right? That's a surprise. You know what I'm saying? So that's what really gave me the conviction. That triple digit EPS growth is so important. I want all my stocks to have triple digit EPS growth, preferably, right? It's obviously not always, but you know, I want triple digit earnings growth. And then yeah, that's all there is to it. I just find out my scan, and then again, I really want the sideways range like this. I want it like this. I don't want something that's like running up into earnings. Something like PLTR. I don't want this. I don't want this run up and then the earnings. They just fail more. I feel like, in my opinion. You want this some sort of like base sideways move. You don't want the stock to really move that much before earnings. Also, I took SoFi. This is like working. I mean, it's kind of mid. This is the simple, like I preach this setup, you know, every day. Higher lows, lower highs, tight candle, low volume, right off the 10 EMA, breaks that high, bam, you're long. So I bought that at 1283, and it's working for now. We'll see how it closes. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Held that 20 EMA. It failed it, but then reclaimed. That's an important level for me. I always want that 20 EMA. I want price above that. Price above, good. Price below, bad. But reclaimed it, so perfect. That's what I wanted to see. And then 30-minute, held that 50, reclaimed it on big volume. So kind of all there is for that. We'll see if this thing can get some momentum upwards. If not, I'll cut it. I took some profits on PRCH. Again, I told you I trimmed. That's to fund risk on SoFi. So now I have 2 positions working, and I'm only risking my money on one, but I've already taken profits to fund that risk, which is what I want to be doing. I want to be taking money from working positions, and I want to use those profits to fund risk for new positions. And you just do that until you're fully invested. So that's really all I got, I think. That's really all there is to it. That's the trade. And I'll trail some of this with the 10 EMA. Again, I'll sell some into strength. Gotta pay myself. And that's really all there is to it. Rinse, repeat. Good earnings per share growth, revenue growth, good guidance, good sales. Somewhat of a range, tight range. Bigger the base, the higher in space. And gap towards near the top of the range. And then opening range break, pre-market highs. That's all there is to it. So if this helped you, leave a like. Leave a comment. I'll read you guys' comments. All there is to it. Thanks, guys.